Whether this is your first Harbor episode or you've watched them all, you guys know I'm pushing you to have your own experiences. I want you guys to see the world, try new things. I want you to go out and actually do all of the stuff that you guys are stoked on doing. And the reason I want you to do that is because I genuinely believe that experiences plus reflection equals insight. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about what that self-reflection part can look like. I think there are two types of people in this world. There are two types of you watching this video. We've got learners and we've got avoiders. Learners, you're the kind of people who you're gonna take a million BuzzFeed quizzes. You know exactly what Kardashian you're gonna be. You know what Hogwarts house you're gonna live in. You know what your zodiac moon and sun are. Chloe, Gryffindor, double Aries. Avoiders, you guys, you'll do anything you possibly can to not be alone. You literally avoid the opportunity to be by yourself because being alone means you've got to reflect, and sometimes reflecting, it can be scary. When I was in high school, I wasn't a learner. I was for sure an avoider. I did everything I possibly could not to be alone because I didn't like thinking about myself. I didn't like reflecting. I just liked, just not having to go through that process. I woke up at 25 years old and I realized my plan, it didn't work. All the ideas I had in my head about what I was going to be doing when I was an adult fell through. When I was your age, everything I thought I was going to be at 25 didn't happen. And I realized in that moment, nobody was going to help me. There was no human that was going to step in and change it for me. I had to do it 100% by myself. And for whatever reason, that was the most freeing thought I could think of. The thought that my life was 100% in my control just gave me the freedom to go out and create what I wanted and be the person that I wanted to be. And it was in that moment I decided I wasn't going to avoid self-reflection. I was the kind of person who wanted to learn everything I could. And that's when I started The Bay. That's when I created my first nonprofit. I sat down and I thought, what do I really care about? What do I really want to do? What problem am I really passionate about solving? And then I just went out and I did that. And when I opened up The Bay, when I actually started, it forced me to reflect more. It made me a better leader. It made me a better boss. It made me a better coworker. It made me a better founder. It made me really, truly think about myself. And then I became better at what I wanted to do. And I think learning how to reflect has made me the person that I am today. Learning how to reflect, it made me fall in love with my failures. It made me fall in love with my past. It made me fall in love with the times that I'd made mistakes because I got an opportunity to reflect on those experiences and get better. It's why I love going on adventures with my friends. It's because I take those moments and then I reflect on them later, and that's where insight comes from. I know you guys are busy. I know you guys have crazy schedules. Some of you guys are in multiple sports. Some of you have multiple AP classes. Some of you guys have super serious relationships, or you have a job, or you're trying to blow up online and be a gamer or a YouTuber. You guys all have crazy schedules. I get that. And slowing down in high school can be weird because your whole life is kind of scheduled out. You wake up at the same time. You go to bed at the same time. You eat lunch at the same time. Your life is kind of run by a bell and a calendar. If you don't take time to actually schedule reflecting in, it's not going to happen. And don't get me wrong, the first time you sit down to self-reflect, it can be super weird. I had no idea what to do my first time. But my advice to you guys would be grab a journal and take a Friday night off from hanging out with your friends, or wake up super early on a Saturday morning and just find an hour to just be alone with your thoughts. And if you're sitting down to reflect, ask yourself questions like, am I happy with who I am right now? Do I like the way I responded to a certain situation? What's a habit of mine that I want to change or improve on? Or what significant moment am I trying to create this next year? It's in those moments of reflection that you realize who you need to apologize to, what you're taking for granted. You might even actually learn about yourself as a person. So if you're feeling stuck right now, if you're caught in a rut, or you don't know where you're headed or what you're trying to do, I think you need to just take some time, slow down, and reflect. Because that reflection leads to insight, that insight leads to action, and that action, it leads to impact.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Reality Check Part 2. I'm your host, Shyler.
I'm Yadira.
I'm Ruby.
Mr. Rodriguez.
We just watched a video about self-reflection, and let's get to our first question. Do you think that certain experiences have helped develop you as a person more than others? If so, were those experiences negative or positive? And how did they shape you?
I believe that certain experiences do change you as a person. I think either negative or positive, they mold you into the person you are, and it gives you a different perspective on certain situations, and it makes you, I think it also varies from your maturity. I think it changes specifically on your maturity and how you treat others, and the person that you become, for sure.
Okay, so I feel like it has changed me too. I feel like it's made me like more stronger mentally, because then like, you know, you're prepared for like what's coming in the future, you know? Yeah.
Right. Is there a certain experience in your life that was like specifically negative or specifically positive that like really shaped you as a person, that like you step back and like actually like learn from it?
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I also believe that with everything, each one of our personalities definitely determines or is affected by the positive and negative, and who we are in general allows us to react to what we do. Going to her question about is there a situation, a lot of my students know that I came from a rough background. It's easy to get stuck into the negative aspect of it, but then reflecting upon both the negative and positive, but mainly the positive, is pushing toward going into something or any decision that could change your life and open up opportunities for things that you could do later on. I hope that makes sense.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now you take some time to discuss that question as a class. And our next question to get conversating about is, do you feel as if you are a learner or an avoider? Why do you think that is? And be honest with yourself. And I like this question because, like, I feel like we all are both, and we're constantly both, like, all the time. Like, we have times where we avoid and we have times where we learn. But it's just, like, learning to do the right thing at the right time. Because sometimes it's good to avoid, and sometimes it's good to learn.
I agree.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, because now that I'm reflecting, I feel like I am in between being an avoider and a learner. And I think now, from where I stand now, I think I became much more as a learner, because I saw that through my avoidance, I didn't really get anywhere, but I did learn. Like, I did see that throughout learning, you could really get an impact from that with whatever situation or experience you are going through or that you take from.
I feel like I'm both too, because I've also reflected, because for example, I was avoiding coming here, but if I didn't come here, you know, I would have not passed classes, you know? And that kind of made me learn to try new things. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I agree with all four of us, actually, all three of you, with the idea that we are a combination of both. I think our personalities definitely connect to which one we're more of. Some of us tend to be an avoider, and some of us tend to be more of a learner. But in the end, it's a mesh of both. I'm more of a learner because I like to reflect upon myself. In the end, I'm the only one that can actually make myself happy. And so for me to actually do something better, I have to reflect on what I'm doing. In this world, we have a tendency of playing victim. And it's easy to get into the avoidance and saying
game.
everyone else is doing something toward me, when it's more of what am I doing toward myself.
Yes, because it's always easier to like find someone just to point the finger at instead of just
The scapegoat.
It's all about the blame game.
accountability.
The blame game.
Yeah, humans are we're very predictable, but we just can't have anyone tell us that our opinion is wrong. So we just
And we hate accountability.
Yeah.
we do we
Because
really do.
it means we own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't want to.
It is admirable when someone can take accountability,
It
you
is.
know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just definitely shows like how maturity can change a person and how they act. But now as a class, I would love for you guys to discuss that question and see what you guys come up with. Now that you've discussed that question, let's hop into our third and last question, which I think is one of the best ones, to be honest. So it starts with a quote from thing that he said in the video. He said, "Reflection leads to insight, insight leads to action, and that action leads to impact. Has there been a time when this statement proved true in your life? If so, explain why." If you need me to repeat it, let me know.
Me?
Either one
Anyone?
of us.
I'm like processing.
Mine's pretty simple because I am an adult. It's easier to reflect on the things I've done before and what's led me here to be a math teacher. Two things. When I was your age or right after high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I reflected on what are my strengths. And I was working dead-end jobs like most of us. We work fast food and stuff. And I realized I'm good at math. And so I went toward a tutoring place. And that tutoring place had 2 students that they handed me to try to help them. And within a month, I took 2 students, 1 D and 1 fail, to both A's.
Wow.
And it made me realize, I got this knack for math. The second thing is when I first came to Canyon, I was hired as a science teacher. Yeah,
Really?
I taught
I can
science.
see you teaching science.
I taught
can
science
see
for
it.
3 years, and I had no clue. Never taught it before, but it was a challenge. And I love change, and people know this already at this school. But for me to be confident to handle anything that comes my way, I had to experience things before. I had to build my own character and build my own confidence in myself to say, I'm going to do it because I love doing my job and I love doing what's handed right in front of me, and I'm going to get it done.
That's good. I definitely think you work as a math teacher for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think that it took me a long time to like understand that you actually have to reflect and like take accountability for the actions that you do, negative or positive.
Yep.
And it was a lesson that I did have to learn, but I will be honest, I have really tried to like reflect and insight and just do all that, and it has definitely changed my life. I would say so. Especially in school and grades. It's changed a lot.
Seriously. Well, for me, like when I would really reflect on any decisions, like you said, negatively or positively, I would mostly be afraid of change because I didn't know how I don't know how I would react to change. And over time, through my experiences, I realized that change can be very good, can be good, can make you much stronger. And it can really put you in a place of growth, where you're growing. And I think that's most important in your life is growth.
I completely agree.
Yes, especially after making bad decisions, because then you get to realize, how you really messed up. If you think about it. And I feel like also reflecting before doing something is good. Yeah.
And after doing it is also it's important for sure.
Because, I don't know, from reflecting, I feel like I get more motivation to do stuff, to fix things.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what this school is so big about, is like just reflection and not being against the fact that you need help. It's about accepting the fact that they're giving help. And it's here to make it easier, not to make you feel like you're any less than.
And it's very impactful, It's almost like a blessing because not a lot of kids or students can experience like relationships or bonds that you can create specifically in this school.
And specifically with the staff, I've never met like a school with staff that have genuinely cared so deeply about like not only your mental being, but like your grades and genuinely wanting to see you graduate. Like you can feel it, and like and at first I was really iffy about the school. Like I was like, well, I don't want to be seen as less than. Like I've always done good in school. Like, I don't know. But then like I used it as a tool, and now like I'm gonna graduate soon, and
That's awesome.
I'm gonna be done. Like we're almost all done.
That's what
So
we're here for.
yep. But that is all of our questions, and I'm pretty sure we have reached the end of our discussion. So I would like for you guys all as a class to discuss that question. I want to thank you all for watching our reality check part 2. And I want to lastly introduce our co-hosts, Jeremiah, Will, Patricia, and Bevo. I got it. Bevo. Have a good day.
I heart Bevo.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for showing up.